Muy bien, we're going to be learning some new vocabulary, specifically activities to talk about things you and others do. We will start with the AR verb infinitives. And you can see that the form of the verb known as an infinitive is the form that's found in the dictionary. It is the form of the verb before it is conjugated. In other words, a conjugation is when you change the ending of the verb to match the subject. The verb to be, for example, I am, you are, he is. You wouldn't speak in infinitives, I to be, you to be, he to be. That would be a little bit odd. You conjugate the verb. So, working with AR verb infinitives, we will learn the verb forms that start with to dance, to sing, to study, etc. The infinitive form before it is conjugated. And note that there are three different verb infinitives in Spanish, ending in AR, ER, or IR. The AR verbs are the most common, so we learn those first. Let's move on and learn the AR verb infinitives. So this particular PowerPoint that I'm talking over for you to learn the AR verbs, this actually comes from a former course that I taught at ECC. So some of the AR verbs are going to be ones that are not in your course. Just a couple are added. A lot of them are the same. But I like this particular presentation. I think it'll give you a good opportunity to practice using these AR verbs. Now, one of the ways that is often a common way to start using verb infinitives is when you ask the question, ¿Qué te gusta hacer? What is pleasing to you to do? And the response actually uses the infinitive form of the verb. So, for example, if you look at these pictures, you'll see caminar, to walk, the verb infinitive to walk. So the question, ¿Qué te gusta hacer? Is actually sort of a backwards construction. What is pleasing to you to do? Your response begins with me gusta. It is pleasing to me, and it ends with a verb infinitive. Caminar, to walk. So, ¿qué te gusta hacer? Me gusta caminar. ¿Qué no te gusta hacer? What is not pleasing to you to do? Maybe you don't like to cook. No me gusta cocinar. So although once again, right now at this point, you're not using your AR verbs in this form, what is pleasing to you, it is pleasing to me to walk, it is a great way for you to learn them, and it's a great way for you to start practicing them. So enjoy this presentation. Repitan, por favor. Alquilar videos. Alquilar videos. Alquilar películas. Alquilar películas, meaning to rent videos, to rent movies. Repitan, estudiar en la biblioteca. Estudiar en la biblioteca. Estudiar en casa. Estudiar en casa. To study in the library, biblioteca. To study in the house or at home. Repitan, conversar. Conversar. To converse, to chat. Repitan, escuchar música. Escuchar música. To listen to music. Repitan, bailar. Bailar. To dance, and you can see the word ballet kind of from there. Repitan, cocinar. Cocinar. Nice that it starts with the first two letters of cook, to cook. Repitan, caminar. Caminar. To walk, caminar. Repitan, cantar. Cantar, which means to sing. And you can think of like chant, chanting at a church or something to sing. You can almost see all the letters of the word chant in there. So now one is going to darken and see if you can remember what that one is in Español. ¿Cómo se dice to listen to music? Escuchar música. ¿Cómo se dice to chat? Conversar.
¿Cómo se dice to sing? Cantar. ¿Cómo se dice to rent videos or to rent movies? Alquilar videos. Alquilar películas. ¿Cómo se dice to dance? Bailar. To walk. Caminar. To study in the library or to study at home? Estudiar en la biblioteca. Estudiar en casa. ¿Cómo se dice to cook? Cocinar. Now the next screen they're going to be scrolling by and see if you can first call out the English, el inglés. To rent videos. To rent movies. To study in the library. To study at home. To converse, to chat. To listen to music. To dance. To walk. To cook. To sing. Now see if you can come up with el español. Cocinar. Estudiar en casa. Bailar. Conversar. Alquilar películas. Cantar. Alquilar videos. Caminar. Estudiar en la biblioteca. Escuchar música. There's so many actividades. Of course, we have a few more to add to the list. 2 more screens, actually. This is our second screen. Repitan. Practicar deportes. Practicar deportes. To practice sports. Pintar. Pintar. To paint. Navegar por internet. Navegar por internet. To surf the internet. Patinar. Patinar. To skate. Hablar por teléfono. Hablar por teléfono. To talk on the phone, to talk by phone. Levantar pesas. Levantar pesas. To lift weights. You can see the word levitate in there, lift up. And finalmente, mirar televisión. Mirar televisión. To watch television. See if you can remember which one when it darkens. ¿Cómo se dice to talk by phone? Hablar por teléfono. Mirar televisión. Practicar deportes. Navegar por internet. Levantar pesas. Patinar. Pintar. See if you can say the English on the next screen before they scroll by. To talk by phone. To watch television. To surf the internet. To lift weights. To skate. To paint. To practice sports. Make sure you're putting the to in front of that activity, of that action, of that verb. They're not conjugated yet. They're in the infinitive form, the to form. Now call out el español. Patinar. Practicar deportes. Navegar por internet. Hablar por teléfono. Pintar. Mirar televisión. Levantar pesas. Our last batch, repitan por favor. Tocar un instrumento. Tocar un instrumento. Now the verb tocar means to touch. In Spanish they say to touch an instrument, okay, which is our air quoted, to play an instrument. If you play a sport, it's a totally different verb. The verb is jugar, jugar, J-U-G-A-R. But to play an instrument, you touch the instrument, tocar. Repitan por favor. Tocar el piano. Tocar el piano. Tocar la trompeta. Tocar la trompeta. Tocar la guitarra. Tocar la guitarra. Tocar el violín. Tocar el violín. Visitar a amigos. Visitar a amigos. Notice that little a that is between visitar and amigos. It's called a personal a. When a person is receiving the action of a verb, a little a goes in there to indicate that it's a person, not an object. It's called the personal a. It has no literal translation in English. So just kind of keep it in the back of your mind. Sacar fotos. Perdón. Sacar fotos. Tomar el sol. Tomar el sol, which means to take in the sun. Sacar fotos, by the way, sacar means to take out. You also sacar la basura, to take out the garbage. So you're actually taking out photos from the film. Tomar means to take in, so they're kind of opposites there. Repitan, tomar un refresco. Tomar un refresco, which is to take in a refreshment, soft drink. Repitan, trabajar. Trabajar, to work. Take a glance at them now, and because you know they're going to disappear here. Okay. Bueno, ¿cómo se dice to play an instrument? Tocar un instrumento. To work. Trabajar. Tocar el violín. Tomar el sol. Tocar la guitarra. Tomar un refresco. Tocar la trompeta. Sacar fotos. Visitar a amigos. Okay, call it out in inglés. Whoops, after this one, sorry. Tocar el piano. To play the guitar. Don't forget the to in front. To take pictures. To take in the sun. To play the piano. To visit friends. To play the violin. To take in a refreshment, soft drink. To work. To play an instrument. To play the trumpet. Spanish, sacar fotos. Tocar la guitarra. Tomar un refresco. Tocar un instrumento. Tocar la trompeta. Trabajar. Tomar el sol. Tocar el violín. Tocar el piano. Visitar a amigos. Y ahora un poco de práctica. What Spanish verbs do you associate with the following? Choose from the list. So you go into a nice museo del arte and you see los murales, the beautiful murals there. Which letters do you think? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. B, H, I. Pintar has to do with murals, to paint. Estudiar, maybe you study murals. Or mirar, to look at, to watch. How about la música? C, E. Tocar la música, escuchar la música, maybe even practicar. F. Número 3, los deportes. F and I. Practicar los deportes, mirar los deportes, of course, watching sports por televisión, en la televisión. How about una presentación oral? An oral presentation. A, E, H. Preparar una presentación oral, escuchar una presentación oral, estudiar una presentación oral. Un instrumento musical, número 5. C, E, F, H. Tocar, to play. Escuchar, to listen to. Practicar, to practice. Estudiar, to study. Finalmente, how about la familia? D, E, G. Visitar a la familia. Escuchar a la familia. Conversar con la familia. Bueno, let's put it into action now and ask and answer the question, what's pleasing to you to do? To me, it's pleasing too. So, primero la práctica, repitan por favor. A ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer? ¿Qué te gusta hacer? Los fines de semana. Los fines de semana. Repitan. ¿Qué te gusta hacer los fines de semana? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los viernes? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los sábados? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los domingos? And you would answer by saying, me gusta, or if you want to be more dramatic about it, more specific, a mí me gusta. Repitan, a mí me gusta, a mí me gusta. So take a look at all the pieces, and I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask, what is pleasing to you to do on the weekends? So you can answer me, a mí me gusta, give an actividad, and then finish with los fines de semana. So listen to el ejemplo. A ti, ¿qué te gusta hacer los fines de semana? A mí me gusta visitar a amigos los fines de semana. Ready? ¿Listos? Let me ask you la pregunta. ¿Qué te gusta hacer los fines de semana? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los viernes? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los sábados? ¿Qué te gusta hacer los domingos? Now let's make it negative, and I want to ask you, what don't you like to do? And I'll put Fridays or weekends in there and answer the pregunta. So, ¿qué no te gusta hacer los fines de semana? Bueno, maybe you said something like, no me gusta trabajar los fines de semana. I don't like to work on the weekends. ¿Qué no te gusta hacer los viernes? Maybe you said, no me gusta cocinar los viernes. That would be me. I don't like to cook on Fridays. Muy bien, so we've talked about you and what you like to do. We've used que te gusta, answering with me gusta. Now let's talk about someone else. Your friends like to participate in certain activities. So say what they like to do based on the information provided. So let's look at a couple of modelos. First we see Ernestina, and we see murales. To say that it's pleasing to her to paint, not to me, me gusta, not to you, te gusta, but to her or to him, le gusta. Perdón. So we would say, le gusta pintar. Let's look at another ejemplo. Modelo. Leo, orquesta de música clásica. So that's something he's involved in. So, le gusta tocar un instrumento musical. So we're seeing an item associated with that activity. You need to come up with the activity. Here we go. Número uno. We have Neti, who's very interested in ballet. Le gusta bailar. Antonio is interested in himnos y ópera. Le gusta cantar. Javier is interested in paella, enchiladas, tacos, tortillas. Le gusta cocinar. Clara is very interested in her cámara. Le gusta sacar fotos. Ernesto has his estéreo. Le gusta escuchar música. Betty is very interested in programas de comedia, programas de noticias, news. Le gusta mirar televisión. Susana is very interested in her celular. Le gusta hablar por teléfono. And Luis is always working with his páginas web. Le gusta navegar por internet.